What's kind of a goal? What are you looking forward to doing here in the next 12 months?
So the next 12 months, I'm looking forward to continuing to right-size my business. And what I mean by that is, as you bring on more agents, and John, you know this, then there needs to be more support. And more support typically means more salaries, and more salaries gets really expensive. So I started to realize that while I was growing, I actually wasn't scaling. I wasn't making any more money. I was taking on a lot more liability, a lot more work, a lot more overhead. And people enjoyed being in my world because they enjoyed the training and the mentorship that they received, but they'd reach a certain level and they'd feel like they needed to spread their wings. And I was like, I understand that, and I'm never one to hold anybody back. I tell the people that come into my world, I love you and I want to see you win. And if that's here, great. If it's somewhere else, fine. But it does start to take a toll. It starts to become exhausting when you pour into people and you feel like you can't offer them that next step, but then you don't want to hold them back.
Yep.
So I love the idea of the rev share model, largely because it gives me an opportunity to help people grow and evolve in their respective careers and still giving them that next step and access to me where we can both benefit from it. So that's really exciting for me. I had to make some decisions about, you mentioned we were mid-size, and we totally were, and it was a little bit of the messy middle. So I either needed to scale and get really big to make the numbers work, or I needed to go lean and mean. Yeah. And I started down a path of, we're going to scale really big. And it was very short-lived because I realized that the way I operate is at a very high level and I have very high standards. And if I continued to try to scale to the level that I felt I needed to be profitable with all of the support, I was going to have to lessen my standards. And I'm not willing to do that. So now we're looking at, the ideal scenario would be 20 highly productive agents. I want the Green Berets. I want the Super Bowl contenders. I want the perfectly ripe avocados of real estate.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned a couple things there, right? There's a difference between growth and scale. And the second thing is, and this is where I help a lot of team leads, because this was us for the longest time, is a lot of teams are like, I want that 7 to 12-ish agent range. And it's kind of like what you're thinking and experiencing, right? It's like, it's this messy middle because, you two people, come on, you build them up, they leave. Now you're like, oh man, because you don't have enough people yet, bodies yet to kind of offset them leaving and replacing them. And I love that you're kind of getting clarity, for your business within that, because going, 30, 40, 50 plus 100 agents is not for everyone. Just like I always tell people, teams are not for everyone, right? There's brokerages that aren't for everyone. You got to find like what works for you, and then you just find the people that you really need to go out and attract to come to your team based off of what you're providing.
Yes, wholeheartedly. And don't worry about what it looks like to everybody else, because everyone's journey is unique.
What's a 5-year goal for you?
5-year goal is, so I have 2 children that are biologically mine. I have 2 daughters, and then I have 5 bonus boys. And our youngest children will be graduating from high school in 4 years. And while I love Western New York, it is my hometown, and I'm a huge Bills fan, I do not like winter. I do not like snow, and I know that's completely counterintuitive. So my goal is to operate a second team in a warmer climate, because our market is also very seasonal. So when it's cold and dreary, there's also not a lot happening in real estate. So it just continues to feel very gray and drab, where the opportunity to go into a market that the climate is better and usually the market is better during the winter months is something that's really appealing to me.
Is Real similar to EXP in the sense that it's one brokerage across the country?
It is, and that was one of the many reasons. To be able to hand off a lot of the operational stuff, a lot of the liability stuff.
Yep.
and also have the opportunity to operate anywhere in the United States and in most parts of Canada, because Buffalo, we're practically Canadian. I was like, you know what, this is great. I can actually fulfill my personal goals and be aligned with an organization that's going to support that.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the benefits of us as well, is that, you know, ability to do it if you wanted to, right, and not have to worry about different market centers and all of that other stuff. Beth, what's a legacy goal for you?
Oh, I don't, you know what? It sounds really morbid, and I don't mean it to, but I've always said, for as long as I can remember, when I die, I want there to be so many people at my wake that said, this person had a positive impact on me. And I'm a no holds barred. I don't sugarcoat things. I always say I'm not nice. I'm kind. I will tell you what you need to hear, not necessarily what you want to hear. So there are people that have, you know, stormed out of my life and called me every name in the book, and then come back 2-3 years later and said, you were right. Thank you for saying that. So my goal is always to make a positive impact and leave people better. And sometimes it takes a little while for them to realize that it came from a place of love, but they usually get there. And much like you, Jen, I know I love your mission, but we say internally that I improve lives and elevate the industry. And as a team lead, I try to do that one agent at a time.
Yeah.